Hey everyone, and welcome to Real Life Real Crime Daily for Monday, June 19th. And I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Mike Agovino.
And today we're going to talk about an Ohio man arrested for killing his mother and stuffing her in a floorboard.
Nice. 2
women were arrested after a 28-year-old enrolled in school claiming to be 17. And golf cart crime is out of control in Florida. Those stories and much more on today's episode.
Yes. Crime time. People, you never know what you're going to get.
You never know. It's like a box of chocolates.
Yeah.
But
all right.
Don't you usually get chocolates in a box of chocolates? I never understood that. Why did Forrest have so much trouble with that?
I don't know. It's a great
question.
Analytical thinking question right there.
Mind of Ago.
An Ohio man has been arrested for killing his mother. 61-year-old man jumped off a bridge into a river after assaulting his 85-year-old mother and leaving her severely injured in a car. On Saturday at approximately 1:15 a.m., officers responded to the Ohio River after receiving a call about a man who leapt off the bridge. When officers arrived, they found Michael Smith injured on the riverbank. He reportedly told officers he wanted to kill himself, and medics transported him to the hospital. While at the hospital, Smith reportedly said his mother was inside a silver Cadillac at a Kroger's grocery store and that she was in bad shape, needing an ambulance. So police drove to Kroger's and they located Carol Sue Swim, who was stuffed in a front floorboard of the Cadillac and injured from an apparent assault. Medics transported Swim to the hospital via helicopter, but sadly she died from her injuries the following day. The Ohio Bureau of Investigation processed a car in Swim's apartment, and investigators determined Smith severely assaulted the 85-year-old Swim, which led to her death. He was then arrested at the hospital on a charge of murder.
Wow. Going to prison for killing your mama? Bad. Yeah,
well, and
big prisoners with the mom and a heart tattoo, they gonna love that guy.
Yeah, that's as bad as being a molester almost to those guys,
really
isn't it?
Is. Yeah, especially in an elderly mother.
Well, and if you're going to kill yourself jumping off a bridge, make sure that you're actually going to die jumping off that bridge.
Right.
I don't know how high that bridge was, but must have not been enough to accomplish the goal.
Let me tell you, this story is way outside the box, y'all. So there was a woman who posed as a boy called George, not Boy George from the 80s, but she was posing as a boy called George, and she has been found guilty of one charge of sex assault, but cleared of 16 other charges after she was accused of tricking a teenage girl in having sex with her. Get it? She was acting like a boy,
yeah,
the girl to have sex, right? So Georgia Bilham, 21, fooled her victim after contacting her using a fake Snapchat profile for a George Perry. She would wear boys' clothes, keep her hood up, and hide her long blonde hair. Even when the pair slept together, they don't mean sleep, y'all. They mean sex. Slept together, claiming to be paranoid because of ties to an Albanian drug gang. She denied 9 counts of sexual assault and 8 counts of assault by penetration. But a jury at a Chester Crown Court found her guilty of one of the charges, but it was a 10-day trial. And the court heard how Bilham, who claimed not to have gotten any sexual gratification out of the relationship, deceived her victim and thinks she was a young man after they began using the Snapchat. They eventually met up and the relationship became sexual, with the girl still believing Bilham was a boy. In one instance, the victim reported that she attempted to remove Bilham's Calvin Klein boxers, but was rebuffed. Bilham reasoning that she was self-conscious about fabricated scabbing scars. That's nasty. And it is a case about this defendant deceiving someone that she was, in fact, a young man. That's what the prosecutor said. Eventually, the alleged victim became frustrated that her partner gave excuses and didn't want to be touched intimately. She also reportedly started to become suspicious when, after traffic accidents, police referred to her partner as Georgia or Georgia instead of George, though Bilham claims she was using a fake driver's license. The teenage girl became increasingly suspicious as time went on and began asking Bilham to prove her identity, though Bilham claimed to not have a passport and instead produced photos of a young blonde man. The victim's feelings were finally confirmed in August 2021 when attempting to introduce Bilham to her mother, who voiced suspicion that her daughter's partner was not a man. Just admit you've been caught out. I know more than enough now, the victim eventually reportedly wrote to Bilham after doing more online research. I don't even dress like a lad. It just took over my life, Bilham said. And Bilham was arrested, and all the sexual activity that took place between those two people was based on false pretenses and so did not involve true consent, is what the prosecutor told jurors, right? And Bilham refused to cooperate with investigators upon her arrest and has strongly denied the charges.
Pretty crazy story.
Whatever, right?
And, they had a movie years ago called Boys Don't Cry.
It was a crying game?
No, Boys Don't Cry.
Crying game was a girl that had a penis, right?
I've never seen the Crying Game. I don't know.
It was a hot chick in the very end. He got down to business, and she took off her panties, and she had an anaconda.
Well, what's really weird about this story is in these times, normally somebody is going through some kind of transition and it's a different gender identity. But here it's a girl posing as a dude because she is attracted to this, but doesn't say she's gay. So, I mean, it's bizarre. She dresses as a boy to get close to this other girl. They get close. She obviously can't.
But she's penetrating the girl, evidently digitally or with her tongue or with something else, but not a penis.
Strap on.
But I know because she wouldn't even take her down because she has scabbing. That disturbs me. You have such severe scabbing on your penis.
That she gave her. That may not be legit.
That would normally send someone for the hills.
That would make me say, don't take off your Calvin Kleins either. I don't want to see the scabs, right?
Scabs
you look like a lizard.
Freaking bizarre story.
Bizarre.
God.
Well,
I don't know.
Give us another one, Mike.
Well, I'm gonna. It's an update to a story that's been in the headlines all year that you guys will remember well. We covered it extensively. This is the story of Kouri Richins, the once respected and celebrated Utah children's book author, who wrote the book about coping with grief after her husband's death, and she was later accused of fatally poisoning him. Well, she was in court for the first time following her arrest. If you remember, she's the mother of three. She will remain in jail for the duration of her trial. Her trial is on murder and drug charges. Her case became a true crime sensation last month when charges were filed. The public poured over the book, Are You With Me?, which was an illustrated storybook. I mean, she sold tons of these things, especially after she was exposed, which sure sounds ass backwards. But Monday's hearing gave both the prosecution and Richins' attorneys a chance to preview their cases and provide contrasting theories on the case. Prosecutors called to the stand a detective, a private investigator, and a forensic accountant, all of whom painted a picture of Richins as having meticulously planned the murder of her husband, Eric Richins. She made financial arrangements and she purchased drugs that were all found in his system after his March of 22 death. In a victim's impact statement she read in court, Amy Richins, who is the sister-in-law, called her sister-in-law desperate greedy, and extremely manipulative. She accused her of intentionally poisoning Eric and spoke about how painful it had been for the family to watch her promote her book and herself as this amazing mother while they strongly suspected she had killed Eric the whole time. How can anyone value human life so cheaply? I cannot comprehend it. She said. Richins lowered her head and cried as the detectives testified about authorities finding her husband dead and cold to the touch. Her attorneys argued the evidence against her was both dubious and circumstantial, noting that no drugs were found at the family home after the death and suggesting that the star witness in the case, who is the housekeeper who supposedly sold the drugs to Richins that she supposedly poisoned Eric with. The defense suggested that the housekeeper was motivated to lie as she was seeking leniency from the state for her drug charges, so that she was going to cop to a plea in order to give up Richins. They provided evidence to her essentially until she got it right. Sky Lazaro, who is Richins' attorney, said of a police interview with the housekeeper. So he is claiming that the police provided her with evidence and basically told her exactly what to say. While I handcuffed Richins shook her head in defiance. Prosecutors questioned the detective about the housekeeper who claims to have sold her fentanyl weeks before it was found in her husband's system, and found bug-out bags. I'd never heard that term, bug-out bags, which were full of emergency provisions and passports they suggested made her a flight risk unsuitable for bail. So with members of both sides of the family sitting in the court gallery behind them, they asked the forensic accountant about Richins' personal financial struggles and the millions of dollars at stake in her husband's estate, which is the real motive here. 1 or 2 pills might be an accident. 20 or 5 times the lethal dose is no accident. That is someone who wanted Eric dead, said the chief prosecutor. Prior to Monday's hearings, Richins' attorneys had presented another theory of the case in a separate court filing. The theory is that Eric was supposedly a big partier who heavily consumed alcohol and THC, either of which could have led to his death. So the defense team went further, claiming law enforcement never investigated the alternate theory about Eric's alcohol and drug abuse. Prosecutors allege Richins slipped 5 times lethal dose of fentanyl into a Moscow Mule cocktail she made for her husband amid their marital dispute. Sure looks like this was meticulous planning of a murder. This is really high profile. It's happening in Park City, Utah. So that's a playground for the rich, skiing.
It's where Mike hangs out, Woody.
Yeah, that's where his third home is.
Don't get to go to Park City these days, but
interesting and a standard issue. Oh, the police didn't investigate this, and she took a deal, so she's lying about this and whatever. Guess what? She did it.
Yeah, she took out life insurance policies on him with a $2 million death benefit just weeks ago.
It shows you the culture on true crime now that the book became more popular after
Isn't that
this
scary?
case. Yeah. It's like watching a documentary.
I agree.
That case will probably we'll see this thing in some kind of TV series.
All right, a crazy situation coming out of New Orleans area in Hahnville, Louisiana.
I'll be driving through there today.
2 Boutte woman
Driving right through Boutte.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, my daughter, when I was a single dad, her mama lived in Buer, so I'd go through Boutte on the way back when she was young. She was like 2.5, 3 years old. And I every time I point at the sign to say, it must really stink here because this town's named Boutte.
God, that's bad.
We still laugh about it to this day.
Well, 2 Boutte women were arrested Tuesday after allegedly scheming for one who is 28 years old to attend Hahnville High School, claiming to be 17. Claiming to be 17 and using a false ID. The St. Charles Parish Sheriff's Office made the arrest, booking 46-year-old Martha Siriano Alvarado, and her 28-year-old daughter, Martha Yesenia Gutierrez Siriano, with 1 count each of injuring public records. The agency began investigating the women after detectives were notified in May 29th by St. Charles Parish Public School officials of their suspicion that an adult was posing as a student at Hanville during the 22-23 school year. The sheriff's office did not say how long Gutierrez Serrano attended the school, nor explain the motive. School officials began an internal investigation and later notified the sheriff's office of the findings, and detectives obtained arrest warrants for the women after determining that Serrano Alvarado had enrolled her daughter in the school using a fraudulent passport and birth certificate. Now, what they're trying to figure out, y'all, is the motive, which
who in
they
the
don't know.
fuck would want to go back to high school?
Oh, come on. 22
God,
Jump Street?
I would.
Did you see 22
Yeah,
Jump Street?
yeah, I did. No, I mean,
That'd be fun.
I lived not my best life. I mean, I'm famous for my high school years. I don't want to go back and do it again unless I go back like Arnold Schwarzenegger on steroids and play football again. That'd be the only reason I'd do it.
That'd be why I'd do it
It's
too.
been done. It's been done in about 500 movies, and so I'm sure there was something
But I
motivated them that came out of
she
some
wanted
stupid movie.
to. She didn't have access to Rosetta Stone like our listeners did with 40% off. And she wanted her child or her young adult to learn English.
Very
free,
possible.
for free, and maybe the free meals,
Or she wanted a young man.
and maybe
She's trying to score herself a younger man.
could be.
What you talking about? Free meals? You know,
Free meals, man, in public school system. We're paying for them, but that's 3 hots and no
I'm trying to
cot.
remember that school because we've played them in basketball.
It's I'm gonna when you go in New Orleans, when you go home today, you see the 310 Boutte exit, and y'all if you're not from Louisiana, it's Boutte, and you take that, and when it ends, you take a right. The Hanville School is right there on the
Oh, right. Okay.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glace, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, and all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We've got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/real life. That's GOBBLE.com/real life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had. Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts to spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of an LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser-cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdown scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids, to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary.
Let me tell you about this. Holy shit. There's a gynecologist. Now, I have a lot of thoughts about the type of doctor I would want to be, and a gynecologist isn't one of them. A gynecologist is accused of molesting hundreds of patients during a decades-long career and has faced threats and extortion from other inmates in a federal jail. And the lawyers for this idiot claim other inmates are aware of his sex crimes and conviction, and he's in danger. And guess what? He probably is. They have requested a lengthy reduction of his sentence and asking for him to serve 3 years in prison, far less than the decades he could be forced to serve. Robert Hayden, 64, of New Jersey, has been targeted in part because people at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn falsely believe he is a child molester, the lawyers wrote in the shit they submitted to the federal court. Hayden was convicted back in January after 9 former patients claimed he abused them sexually during medical examinations, and he's scheduled to be sentenced in July. The victims will be permitted to make statements on June 28th. Since the trial, Hayden has repeatedly been threatened with violence and forced to hand over his commissary items from food to stamps or beaten up. He goes through each day in fear, trying to stay in his cell as much as possible, coming out only for showers and family phone calls. He jumps at every noise and his hands tremble almost constantly. His skin is covered with rashes. He has already lost 35 pounds. The lawyer said he is trying to cope with the jail conditions through religious activities and by tutoring other inmates. Whatever. Hayes' conviction in federal court on 4 counts of enticing victims to cross state lines so he could sexually abuse them carries a lot of years in prison. And in 2016, Hayden pleaded guilty and to allegations involving a smaller number of women than what they had in federal court.
Okay, so if you're in danger, right? Mm-hmm. How does cutting your sentence to 3 years do you? And if you're in danger, you're in danger, and you're giving them 3 years to get you. They're going to get you.
Yeah, and what Hayden is not saying is he's getting butt fucked every day because when he gets out, he doesn't want to have his man. He's only gay for the stay.
Well, and it's look. All joking aside, that's a very trusted type of. Yeah, medical field.
All our wives have been on that table, put the feet in the stirrups.
Absolutely, and I guarantee you,
I do all my wife's exams. I don't allow her to go see those creeps.
I guarantee you, there's a lot of them that have that issue, right. And especially for OB-GYNs to be of that type, that's disgusting.
I had the Louisiana physician examiner board's contract and nursing board contract. The doctors and nurses got in trouble, and y'all wouldn't believe the amount that they do. Now, we love them, but there's good and bad in every profession. And the OB-GYNs were one of the most relevant.
I've got a special I-team report from the state of Florida that's going to shock you.
Lay it on us.
Legal issues that I had no idea existed. The I-team traveled to Florida to try and learn why golf cart arrests and fines are on the rise, particularly in Pinellas County.
I've heard of that county.
We're talking about DUIs, unregistered carts, carts committing traffic violations. There are some misunderstandings out there about how golf cart laws are defined. Many golf cart owners don't actually own a golf cart, but instead they own what's known as an LSV, or low-speed vehicle. LSVs are faster than regular golf carts, but come with certain restrictions and regulations that don't apply to a regular, golf cart that you would rent on like a golf course. The number of accidents and legal cases involving LSVs or golf carts has risen so dramatically here that they even have their own cottage industry of specialized personal injury attorneys.
Really?
St. Petersburg
Shocking.
criminal defense attorney Sean K. McQuaid is all over TV and billboards in that area as the preeminent specialist in personal injuries involving golf carts. Why is law enforcement cracking down on golf cart crimes in Pinellas? Pinellas has the most registered street legal golf carts in Florida, which means they have the most street legal registered golf carts in the country because maybe Palm Springs, California, but would be close. But so while they've become very popular, they've also become a nuisance. From holding up traffic to injuring pedestrians, the police are keen to reduce the problems caused by this rise in golf carts. The increase in focus is also likely a response to the former Tampa police chief's own golf cart controversy. Mary O'Connor and her husband were stopped by a Pinellas County sheriff near the gated community where they live for using a golf cart on the street without a license. O'Connor pleaded with the deputy to let us go, flashing her badge at him, but body cam footage later emerged. Eventually, she had to resign her post over the controversy.
She rolled gold and didn't work.
Many of the problems stem from these so-called LSVs, these low-speed vehicles. Regular golf carts do not exceed 20 miles per hour. These are the ones typically you find at a golf course. While LSVs are supposed to have a maximum speed of 25 miles per hour, many people feel the need to, quote, pimp my ride and juice the maximum speed beyond the legal threshold.
Turbo thruster.
Since LSVs have been registered and titled, have to be registered and titled, while golf carts do not, and since LSVs require personal injury and property liability insurance, as well as additional equipment requirements like headlamps and stop lamps and tail lamps and reflex reflectors.
They got to be street legal, basically.
Exterior mirrors, parking brakes, windshields, all of that stuff. It's a lot of extra hassle to go through and expense to go through. And so what people aren't going through it to just get an extra 5 miles per hour. If they're going to go through it, they are pimping their rides in a big way. So in the gated community of Easy Oaks in South Pinellas, a retired 77-year-old originally from Michigan who would only give his first name, Hank, said this: "When Glenda and I first moved down here, we noticed that some of the neighbors had much faster carts and they could get to the store or the event center much faster than we could. We just wanted to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. Things just kind of escalated over time, and we started having racing events, and it turned into a big-ass thing. Chuck, who's a Jew from New Jersey, lives 2 buildings over. He tried to get Glenda to take a ride in his cart. So the neighbor got some souped-up cart and tried to pick up Hank's wife using his golf cart. And that's when I said, hell no, I'm not letting that rascal hit on my wife with his super cart.
Oh, my God.
This new baby I've got could probably break 60, but I've never driven it faster than 52 or 53. Glenda loves it, says it makes her feel young again. With folks like Hank feeling the need for speed, it's easy to see why and how this situation has gotten a bit out of control in the county. Officer J.J. Johnson of the Hillsborough Police said that they have begun a program to arrest LSV sellers and servicers in the area that are selling these tricked out LSVs, and have made several arrests. It's one thing to have some elderly driving carts that can hit 40 and faster. It's a whole other thing when they're doing it after having a few cocktails and are involved in street races.
But you know what? I remember where I remember Pinellas County. It's the lowest crime county in the entire history of the world.
It was.
No.
Prior to the golf cart street racing.
It is, because the only thing, they don't have any real crime to prosecute. They got to chase LSVs.
No, to me, this is like Cocoon. This is all of these people.
Put me some nitrous on my golf cart, please.
All these people looking for something to get some thrill out of life at their age, and they found it in golf carts. So they're all buying these souped up golf carts and racing around with each other.
We should sell them vacation packages to stay in Baton Rouge downtown for a week if they want some excitement.
That might work. Yeah. That might work.
A Pennsylvania woman has been sentenced for setting fire to a historic barn and trying to kidnap her son. The woman will spend 6 to 12 years behind bars after pleading guilty to a string of crimes, including setting fire to a historic building, stealing a vehicle, and attempting to kidnap her son. Chantel Shirk pled guilty on Wednesday to charges of burglary, robbery of a motor vehicle, theft by unlawful taking, fleeing and attempting to elude the police, criminal mischief, criminal attempt to kidnap, criminal trespass, and aggravated assault. On November 19th of 2021, Shirk and a friend Caitlin were riding in a car to Carlisle, Pennsylvania, when Shirk suddenly yelled for Caitlin to get out and begin to act irrational. Shirk reportedly physically forced Caitlin to exit, stole the vehicle, and drove off. Shirk then drove to a barn in Penn Township, where she caused a fire to start within a barn owned by a family who built it in the early 1900s. The barn was destroyed as a result. Shirk then fled the scene on foot, trespassed into a home garage, where she stole a Jeep Compass. At that time, the family who owned the home was present, including a minor boy. The victim's wallet, identification, and credit cards were all inside the Jeep when it was taken, and later that day, she went to her ex-husband's home and tried to kidnap her biological son, who lived there with the ex and the child's stepmother. Shirk reportedly used a baseball bat to break through the glass door and began yelling that she was there for the child.
There you go.
On her way to the ex's home, Shirk had called a family member to say she planned to kidnap the child, and the family member alerted police. When police arrived at the scene, Shirk fled and almost ran over an officer in the process. The state police in Pennsylvania were able to stop her, arrest her on multiple charges, and she reportedly lied to the jail staff, said she needed medical treatment. So, 2 days after that crime spree, 2 corrections officers transported Shirk via car, and she attempted to escape by jumping through the partition. Shirk also tried grabbing the steering wheel and a firearm on one of the officers.
Nice.
She hit the guards, sprayed him with mace, and eventually confessed to officials that she did not need medical treatment at all and was just trying to escape. She'll serve her sentence concurrently with another sentence she is currently serving.
She could have avoided the whole getting arrested thing if she'd been from Pinellas County and pimped her LSV. She could have outran the cops.
Right? No doubt.
That is true.
Another bizarre story, but y'all, this one, I think I'm trumping every story for the day. Not as a contest. This story is messed up. So there was a Phoenix man known as the Zombie Hunter, and he's been sentenced to death. He was sentenced to death just Wednesday for the murders of 2 women who were attacked while biking along a canal in the 1990s. Brian Patrick Miller was found guilty by a judge in April on 2 counts of first-degree murder, kidnapping, and attempted sexual assault in the brutal stabbing attacks of 21-year-old Angela Brasso in 1992 and 17-year-old Melanie Bernas in 1993. The defendant did not just murder them, the judge said in sentencing 50-year-old Miller. He brutalized them, and he evaded capture for over 20 years, y'all. Angela Russo was attacked on November 8, 1992, while biking along the canal. Her decapitated remains were found in a field the following day on what would have been her 22nd birthday. Her head was discovered in the Arizona Canal more than a week later. Less than a year later, on September 21st, 1993, high school junior Melanie Bernas' mutilated body was discovered in the same Arizona Canal about a mile and a half away from where Brasso was found. According to the Arizona Republic, Bernas was sexually assaulted and her killer carved a cross into her chest. The cases remained cold until 2015 when DNA linked Miller, a single father, and an Amazon employee to the slayings. And in March of 2022, Miller waived his right to a jury trial and pled not guilty by reason of insanity. He was found guilty in April this year. He said, "I'm not looking for sympathy today." During the sentencing phase of his trial in May, and guess what?
He didn't get any.
That's exactly right. He
didn't deserve any. I'm amazed.
I don't know
So
why
he
they
stopped.
still-
I'm amazed he stopped. I mean, those two killings are so close to each other.
He probably has more bodies on than that. But the zombie hunter.
Where they came up with that, I don't know. But those are such brutal murders. It sounds like such a sick. And the guy was working for Amazon,
Right.
What,
And 50 years old. So,
driving
he was
around, dropping
he was
boxes
around
and-
the same age as them when he did it. But it's just bizarre. I never heard that one.
No, I hadn't.
Good
either,
job, fellas. I'm digging that one up.
Creepy.
He should move
story.
to Pinella County and race golf.
Right. Yes. Nitrous,
Yes,
baby.
yes. Let's go to Michigan. On September 6, 1999, going way back, a 22-year-old woman was working at a food stand at the Twin Lakes Golf Club in Oakland Township, Michigan, just outside of Detroit. An unknown man entered into an employee-only restricted area through an employee-only door and violently raped and assaulted the young woman. The suspect took off but left DNA behind at the crime scene. The DNA was uploaded to the Combined DNA Index System, CODIS, but law enforcement investigators could not find a match. Remember, that was in 1999. 9 months later, in July of 2000, a 19-year-old woman was jogging near the 18th hole on the Blue course at Penn State University when she was approached by a man who asked if she had a Band-Aid and knew directions to the clubhouse. The young woman told the man she couldn't help him and tried to continue jogging, but the man held a knife to her throat, dragged her off toward a wooded area. The woman told the police the man punched her in the stomach and raped her.
Wow.
The suspect demanded the victim keep quiet, and he took off, leaving behind his DNA at that scene. In 2004, CODIS linked the DNA from the 1999 rape in Michigan to the 2000 rape at Penn State.
Right.
But no specific match could be made to the subject. In two separate press conferences last week, investigators confirmed that in July of 2021, the Penn State Police Department began working with the Oakland County Sheriff's Office to see if they could nail down a suspect using advanced DNA technology. Detectives partnered with Parabon Nanolabs, which is a vertically integrated DNA tech company that develops next-generation therapeutic and forensic products by leveraging the enormous power of DNA. Genealogy results narrowed down the DNA to 3 potential suspects, all brothers, according to the police. Right. When detectives began investigating the brothers, they zeroed in on Kurt Relema, now 51 years old. At the time of the Michigan rape, court documents show Relema allegedly lived near the Twin Lakes golf course and was potentially visiting his brother, who attended Penn State, at the time of the 2000 rape case at Penn State. DNA extracted from a styrofoam coffee cup Relema had been drinking out of matched him to the DNA collected from both golf course rapes, investigators said. Relema, who was most recently residing in West Bloomfield, Michigan, was arrested and now awaits arraignment. So 23 years later, the DNA finally gets matched and they get the
Hooray
guy.
for DNA.
Yep.
Right? And catching
Good
the bad
stuff.
guys and freeing the innocent ones. Yeah, that's a hell of a story.
Hey, ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone support and supplement, it's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC.
And then he thought he got away with it for all this time.
You can now take off that belt and move freely around the cabin.
All right, we got a mile high crime coming at you, and a man has been charged and an employee suspended after the TSA finds guns and luggage.
Nice.
So nearly a dozen guns hidden inside one man's luggage bound for an international flight from Atlanta has left the man facing charges and a Delta employee facing suspension. Keenan Homey checked 2 bags for his Delta flight, and those bags were sent to a TSA security screening area. TSA agents became suspicious after watching his luggage move through the scanners at the Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Agents found a piece of a karaoke machine in one bag and the speaker in the other. Both pieces were opened and 9 handguns were found inside, as well as 2 AR M4 lower units. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with what that is, an AR lower unit refers to typically the receiver portion of the AR-15, which is a semi-automatic rifle. Each of them were wrapped in aluminum foil, which he told agents he did to avoid detection. El Homey was traveling with a Delta employee who is a close relative when he was stopped. The agent's report basically said that the Delta security and Atlanta police asked for Homey to come to their office voluntarily, where he was met by 2 ATF special agents. He admitted to the agents he was taking the firearms to France, where he was going to resell them for a profit. He said the guns were purchased from the trunk of a car while on his trip from an unknown man. He did not place the barrels of the firearms in the luggage because the car trunk arms dealer told him that would make exporting them illegal. So a Delta spokesperson released a statement, and basically they said that the employee in this case was suspended pending an investigation because they think he may have known something about all these guns.
That could also
been luggage.
Also could have been a dumb criminal.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely dumb. I think pretty much all of ours could make for dumb criminal segments.
Right.
Everything we talk about.
If you're going to slide one gun through, you try to get it through, you might as well try to get all those guns through.
Yeah, I don't understand why anybody would think they could get away with even one.
And you're going to go over there and sell it. I know the profit margin is high, but shit, the tickets to France are high, right?
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Yeah, that guy could have got banjos for sure.
Mile high.
You can now take off that belt and move freely around the cabin.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Ooh. Yeah. You know what time it is? It's time for kinky crimes on Monday. And y'all, this is a doozy. A Pennsylvania man was with a fetish for nylon has been arrested for making more than 400 random phone calls in one day in an attempt to get women to engage in sexually explicit conversations about pantyhose. Now, that is one lonely motherfucker, right? For 400 phone calls in one day.
And he struck out?
Wait, let's check this out. 43-year-old Rip Allen Swartz turned himself in last week to face harassment charges. But this was not a one-time thing for him. Investigators say he placed calls to businesses across the country over the last 5 years when trying to get female employees to talk to him, sometimes call him repeatedly. How did they catch him, you might wonder? On one of his phone calling sessions, Swartz neglected to activate the number blocking software on his phone. After assuming he had turned on the software, he dialed over 420 random businesses. Police were made aware and grew concerned when over 60 of the women reported the same number to law enforcement in areas throughout the country to report the same phone calls. When Rip Swartz was arrested, police were able to obtain cell phone records showing he has engaged not only in this activity, but also this call volume for a jaw-dropping 5 years, y'all. So it goes to us here at RLRC Daily thinking, how common is a pantyhose fetish? Well, here's a statistic. It is estimated that around 40% of males have a pantyhose fetish, making it the most common fetish for men. In contrast, you may ask, what is the most common fetish among women according to the stats? A threesome with two men at over 35% of the women polled answer that.
Yeah. Okay, well, based upon those stats, one of the three of us has this fetish.
No,
Actually,
I don't really give a shit.
yeah,
about
that'd be
pantyhose.
about
That
right.
would be right. But I was going to say,
I don't mind a
So
little.
what-
I don't-
Woody?
based on this,
I ain't-
wait.
Look me in the eye.
On my honor, Scout's honor, I don't have pantyhose fetish. Baby, I'm about
That
to mess
means
you up.
it's,
But
that
listen.
means it's Jim. Because
Listen.
No.
statistically, it has to be one of the three. of us.
Statistically, one of us has at least been a fantasy by some woman that one of us and somebody else would have sex with them at the same time.
That's not necessarily true.
Almost.
Almost.
I'm not a math genius.
God, if we had time, I would tell my threesome story.
Oh, God.
I have a great threesome story.
Yeah, well,
It involves
That's interesting, though, that over 40% of men have that. I don't.
I don't either.
I like a good set of heels now.
Yeah.
I probably got a little.
I don't even
heel
think people
fetish.
wear pantyhose anymore, do they? I mean,
Oh, they wear them.
Sure.
From what I understand.
I'm not buying Jim's position on this.
I don't know.
Did you hear how
I really
enthusiastically he said, "Oh, they wear them."
Oh, I mean, they definitely wear
Yeah,
them.
oh, they wear.
I mean, I'm married. No.
You remember when pantyhose used to come in the egg?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why the fuck
Legs.
was that?
Those
legs.
legs,
But
yeah.
why put them in an egg?
That was
mean,
like that
It's
was
convenient.
years ago.
I don't know.
But I think the Kardashians have cornered the market on
Well, the ones that
Well, I can tell you what. Regardless, it was kinky.
it was kinky.
it. Definitely.
The ones that the Robertsons came in with flat pants.
And I'll tell my threesome story another time.
Yeah.
Although it does also
Yes,
involve
we can't
Chelsea.
wait.
So
Chelsea
we've
the
got
bird.
tons of female listeners, and in addition to males, and
Right.
that means a lot of them might have that other fetish.
Right? That's what I'm thinking.
just saying.
I don't
So
really
they
care
would-
about
they
the
would-
pantyhose part.
y'all know who
They
you are
would
out
like
there.
my Chelsea the bird story, but go ahead.
Y'all know who you
Maybe.
are. out there.
Banjos, please.
Yes, banjos.
Whenever we have banjos in the state of Tennessee, we always get some solid entertainment. A Tennessee man ended up in the joint for smoking a joint while in court. Spencer Boston, age 20, was in court this week after being charged with simple marijuana possession. God, is that even that's a crime in Tennessee? Not to be deterred by the first charge, Boston began to argue in favor of legalizing the drug. Boston was blunt, no pun intended, in his argument, and instead of simply expressing his opinion using words, he decided to pull out a spleef from his pocket, light it, and begin hitting on it while facing the judge.
That's great.
I can't believe
he's got to go on all what
the
he
man
said.
was able to get in several hits on the bump before security realized what he was doing and led him from the courtroom to resounding laughter from the crowd.
Oh my God.
The people deserve better, Boston shouted as he was removed from the gallery. Boston was charged with disorderly conduct and another marijuana possession charge.
There you go.
He was also held in contempt of court for the
I knew
stunt.
that was coming.
One of the craziest things I've seen, according to Wilson County Sheriff Robert Ryan. Yes, it was. And he is a fine-looking gentleman. And congratulations, Mr. Boston. Although I
Absolutely.
And look,
amazing.
y'all, we post these stories, you know, we pick 4 or 5 of these, put on the Facebook page. Y'all have got to see this dude.
Yeah.
And so we'll definitely have that be one of the ones that you see today when you listen to this episode.
Right.
Because it's a good one.
Dumb, but harmless. I mean, you know, he's happy and harmless. Look at the guy.
Yeah.
All he wanted to do was just take a little toke in front of a judge.
Yeah. I mean, and how'd that work out for him?
Yeah.
I don't know. I
I'm
think
sure
in,
he probably got skull drugged.
I think in
down the
Portland
hallway.
he would have gotten paid to do that by the judge.
Let's just legalize it. Shouldn't everybody be dumb and tax it, right? Whatever. But you're going to fire it up from the judge, you are definitely a dumb criminal.
Banjos.
Check out the Facebook. Man, it's growing.
We also have the Real Life Real Crime community app. Go download it for free. That's all the links are posted in there. We have Real Life Real Crime Instagram and
the Twitter.
Or the Twitter too. So it's all shared and you know.
So whether you're tweeting, Instagramming, Facebooking,
Right,
you can
whatever
get your
you do.
daily fix.
Get your daily.
And I have my new OnlyFans account.
And Mike has an OnlyFans. He's going to be wearing hose in it.
Hey, right. Hey, on a real
Joe
quick,
Namath style.
real quick,
Joe Namath.
real quick, serious note. Where is Wesley Dale Morgan? Thank y'all for your response. Please continue to call in your tips. We're going to bust this case. He's a grown man now. Even if he doesn't want to come home, the side of the family that loved him, they deserve the answers. Look around. Let's bring him home. All right.
There you go.
Anyway,
Bloody Angola, check it out.
Bloody Angola's love. The second part of
Part 2, On Fire.
On Fire.
Wardenburg
Same
King.
from Part 3. Dropping in a couple of days.
That's right. And thank y'all for all your support.
Thank you for everybody for liking and sharing and telling other people about us.
Till next time, I'm Jim Chapman.
Ago, you got something to say?
No, I'm holding back.
Oh, on which part?
Big Orange Man.
Big Orange, yeah.
Tennessee.
Orange Man bad.
Orange fan bad. Yeah, come on,
Man
right now.
bad.
You got to say it.
Florida?
No, I can't.
Okay.
I can't. You've forbidden me. I can't talk.
Oh, fuck. And then, then I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Mike Agovino.
Your host of Real Life, Real Crime Daily. Peace.
Shabusiness.
Orange Man.